because we have looked all around for a good curriculum that we could follow and that we could model off of for women's self-defense. And what we found is very fragmented systems. So there's one system that's very good at actual self-defense and the hands-on fighting skills, but they don't teach the personal empowerment and the assertiveness training. And then if there is a system out there that teaches really good assertiveness and personal empowerment, they're not teaching the statistics and the avoidance and how to not end up in a self-defense situation in the first place. There really isn't a curriculum out there that's available in like a whole package form that puts all those things together. What Jenna and I, we've been focusing on women's self-defense for years and years and years, and the thing that we've come up with is that there's really 4 essential components to self-defense, and one of them is personal empowerment and assertiveness, because if people don't feel like they're worthy of protecting themselves or that they're capable even of doing it, then it doesn't matter what physical skills you teach them. If people have such low self-esteem that they see themselves as not even worth standing up for and they don't really believe in themselves, then the physical skills aren't going to matter a whole lot. So we think that that's essential and important. The second aspect of it is, of course, the avoidance, being able to know what kind of situations are likely to turn bad. What are the stats? What types of situations are you most likely to face? What are you going to find? What kind of a situation you're going to find yourself in? It really depends on your age and your demographic. For someone who's like a young female living on the U of O campus or living on a college campus, it's going to be far different than if somebody's in their 60s and living far away from campus or whatever. The types of self-defense situations they're going to face is likely going to be different. You never know for certain what's going to happen. I mean, we tell people all the time that in self-defense, like especially in women's self-defense, it's very unlikely that somebody is just going to try to punch you and kick you and punch you. Usually people are either, if it's a sexual assault, they're trying to get you down and hold you down and pin you on the ground. If they're trying to steal your purse, then they're trying to grab your purse. That it's not very often that someone's going to sit there and throw punches and kicks. It's not going to look like a kickboxing match with someone circling around throwing kicks and strikes at you. And we say that the majority of the time. But I had a woman walk in here the other day that wanted some self-defense situations, that still had scars and markings on her face, and said that she was approached by a homeless person that said that he was hungry, wanted to know if she had money that he could get some food or whatever. And when she said no, she said he just went ballistic and started throwing punches at her face and hit her in the face and knocked her to the ground, knocked her unconscious, and then left. She said, I just woke up and he wasn't there or whatever. So that defies statistics. It's unusual to have somebody just simply try to pummel your face. Or he didn't rob her. He didn't even take her purse after he hit her. So in that situation, you can just assume that the person was so deluded, either their mind was so damaged from schizophrenia or mental illness of some sort, or they were so high and intoxicated on drugs, or had been up for several nights in a row on drugs, and who knows what they thought they were doing or whatever. So they're people that just don't even think straight. So we can always talk about statistics, but you don't ever really know. It doesn't mean that someone in their 60s, 70s, 80s couldn't be in a situation of sexual assault, and it doesn't mean that a young person couldn't find themselves in a situation of property theft or whatever. It's just, you never know. So we really should be prepared for everything, but knowing the stats, knowing how to avoid situations, what to say in certain situations or how you can be safe, that's the second part of it. The next part of it is the nonviolent self-defense techniques that we're going to be going over some of them here today, because the majority of the time when women are assaulted, it's by somebody that they know. And someone that they think that they can trust a lot of times. It's somebody that they feel like should care for them, or they should care for them. Sometimes it's even just a friend of a friend or whatever, or a family member or something. But and it's very difficult sometimes to move into serious self-defense like eye gouging or kneeing the groin or elbow strikes when you're conflicted about why is this person doing this to me? Why is this, why is this happening? And sometimes it's difficult to kick into injuring somebody that you thought that you cared about or liked about. I mean, it's such a foreign thing to think about harming another human being, It's just normal people have a problem with using violence on other human beings. It really shouldn't be something that comes too natural for anybody. Otherwise, you're on the other side of the fence, right? So we have to understand that nonviolent self-defense is essential as well. And then, of course, the serious self-defense, the life and death type of stuff of eye gouging and kneeing and elbowing and all those things. And so we feel like those four components, if you're missing, it's kind of having like four wheels on a car. If you don't have one of them, then you're really missing a big chunk of what's going to make that go. And for women's self-defense, there are great products out there that cover each one of those things at a time. There's self-defense, there's nonviolent self-defense, there's empowerment things, but there wasn't anything that was putting it all together that we could model off of. So we said, well, heck, if no one else is going to put a system together that puts all those things together, we'll do it. We'll do it part as a business, and hopefully we can make enough money to continue to do it, but we'll do part of it nonprofit, where we'll give it to women's shelters and to women's group and to youth groups and to other people as well, and make it a business, but also make it a social service, just to get this message out to as many people as possible. So we've been working really hard on doing that.